You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to rest.
Hi everyone, welcome from your Intuition Queen to a new episode of Intuitive Queens podcast. And today I have to tell you a secret. This is the last episode of, the season. I know it's been a year since I started this, and it's really not a season, it's a full year. But yeah, I decided to take a little bit of a break and come back again with new amazing guests and new amazing surprises for the new year. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this adventure because for me, it's been an adventure and it's been a beautiful adventure. But I want to talk to you about a few things. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to all of you for watching, for listening, for subscribing. You've been growing so much and I wasn't really expecting that. And also, thank you so much to all my guests. To the only two men that I had at the beginning because I thought I wanted to have for both, and then I just decided to be like full-on women. So thank you so much to all my guests for being on my show. It's been incredible to have you on and hear all your stories. So amazing and so powerful. And to all of you, I kind of want to tell you a little bit the story how I started it, because I get asked this a lot, and I also get told by people that sometimes they feel they would like to create one, but then the tech aspect might put them off. So let me tell you something, because I am also not exactly someone that is super technological. I've learned so much since I decided to embark on this journey. And I've learned something that, to be honest, sometimes I wish I could give to someone else, but it was never the right time. And I had to make sure I could manage my money properly. And I wanted to learn. So when I decided to start this podcast and I was coaching with my ex-coach, Jake Valentine, he went, okay, go. And I was like, okay, I go. What do I do? And then I realized that a couple of months prior to that, I had bought a bundle of mini courses. And there was one about podcasting. And I took that course, which explained me exactly what I needed to do step by step in order for me to set up the platform and all that. And so I went. And I'm also part of a group on Facebook where there are people that have podcasts. And so I could also ask them for help and for advice. But what I want to say to you is, don't give up on that little passion that you might have or the little dream that you might have, just because maybe there is something that you think might stop you. If you ask around, pretty much everyone knows something that you don't know. So just ask around, just be a little bit curious and see how you can, make of what you love something that gives you joy. Because for me, this was really a way for me to share more of what I believed in, which is once you follow your intuition, once you listen to yourself, you're able to change your life, even if you've gone through a very terrible moment of your life, if it's really painful, even if you're the first person that doesn't believe in yourself. If you follow that voice within you telling you to do something, to go somewhere, things are going to change, because the energy is going to shift. The energy is going to shift, and in the moment of you taking that action, things are going to start aligning towards something that is always better, until you are in a position mentally, personally, professionally, physically, energetically, to take the next step without being pushed so much by your voice. It just becomes something more conscious. And so when I started, I had a few guests in mind. They were most of my friends, and I just went on. I didn't set myself any goals of achieving that many downloads, having that many people. I had not in mind to have my solo episodes. But I learned as I went, and the more I went, the more I found joy. The more I realized how everyone is sharing a similar process. So my friend Susanna Liller, she's on episode number 3, a book about the heroine and the process that the heroine has to go through, which is similar to the hero's journey. And this is what every one of us goes through. Life brings us to have to face our fears, have to face our demon. And so when we find the courage within ourselves, then we're able to take the next step. And then we're able to find people that can help us, or the universe, or our God can help us, however you want to call it. And so that was for me something easy to set up. But then I found myself finding challenges along the way, like thinking that I had recorded an episode and I didn't, or having a problem with guests that had to record and they couldn't record, and so not having the episode ready for the day and having to chase someone to record so that I could make sure that I didn't miss a week. And I've learned so much about myself and how to manage certain situation. It wasn't necessarily something that I mean, I'm good at solving problems in stressful situations, but sometimes when it's just your own thing, you get more stressed. And I learned to edit, and I learned to do so many things, not necessarily things that I had thought I wanted to do, but that I did. And in doing that, I learned new skills, and now I understand a lot of other things better. And so when you find yourself in that situation that you want to start something, even that is, if it's small, do it for your own sake. Do it for yourself. We are living in a society right now where everybody shares everything, from the meal, from how many times you've gone to the bathroom, and where you've been, where you've not been, what you're wearing, what you're not wearing. And so there is an overload of information and things that people share. So it feels like you also should be sharing something. But if that scares you, just do it for yourself, and then you can start sharing later. I knew what I wanted. I was really driven by that, and I knew and it made sense for me to share it, since this is what I do. But for you, just go with it. Go with that voice within yourself that is telling you that you deserve better, you want better, and that you need to feel good. So anything that makes you feel good, little or not, just go with it. And I found there is a lot of similarities among the stories that all my guests have shared. And I think the topics are pretty much similar. Everybody talks about money mindset. And it doesn't matter your story. It doesn't matter if you come from a wealthy family, if you come from a poor family, if you've been helped financially, or if you've never been able to be helped financially. Money mindset is something that is not just related to money. Money mindset is related to your self-worth. And so you can have a lot of money and maybe have the possibility to have easier way to get through certain situations. But when it comes to have to face with how worthy you are, there is no amount of money that can do that for you. You need to feel that within yourself. And so that is what needs to be worked on and released, because there are some blockages. There's some mindset issues there. There's some thoughts that you have that are stopping you from moving forward. And so I hope some of the episodes have been helpful for you in this way, because everybody of us, especially when you switch from being in corporate to become your own boss, and pretty much all of my guests have become their own bosses, there is this work that needs to be taking place, because the two things are related. Energy, money is energy, and if don't have the energy in the right place, you're not able to manifest anything. But you need to make sure that you align yourself. You need to make sure that you listen and trust your intuition. So this is what I talk about pretty much every time. And it was amazing for me to have a confirmation, not that I needed it because I knew, but it's just amazing to see how stories interlap and are so similar to one another. Another topic that came up a few times last week with Natalie, there's also my friend Carrie Cott and a couple of other guests that talked about physical pain and how releasing emotional pain has helped them to release physical pain, to a point that what the doctor said was chronic pain no longer is, because they no longer have pain at all. Or Natalie said that she went from 100 to 10% of pain. So just doing inner work and working on repressed emotions, on emotions that came from trauma when she was a child or later on. And when I say trauma, I don't mean necessarily the really, really bad things, like if you've been abused or if you lost someone when you're a child. I'm also talking, we experience trauma in a variety of different ways. And, even if you are in your 20s and 30s, you can still go through a traumatic situation, and it doesn't have to be something crazy. Like, for example, right now in California, there are fires and people are losing homes, and I don't think it's just in California. I don't mean that kind of traumas, but I mean even just breaking up with your partner or having to change country. It depends how you respond to that situations emotionally when they are not so heavy. Obviously, if you're losing a home for some sort of natural disaster, it is a trauma. It is, there is a lot going on there and a lot to work on. But whenever there are situations that are a little bit less painful, but we made them painful, then it's because we need to adjust the way we respond. We need to heal our inner child, because our inner child has been wounded and still get triggers by certain situations. I can tell you, I had to do a lot of work on my inner child. I had to do a lot of work on myself because I used to be very sensitive about a lot of things. And now I am easy. I understand things much better, and it's easier for me to let go of certain emotions, and I can process things quicker. I don't get triggered that much, and I'm not attached to things anymore. And one big thing that I needed to work on was attachment. I used to get attached to situations, to people, to things, and so that would cause me pain. And so, everybody goes through their own journey, but I hope that those stories have kind of shown you that it's possible. There have been a few guests. I remember Melissa and a couple of others that have gone through abusive relationships, and they also had children, and they felt powerless and hopeless. But at some point, something within you tells you enough. So I hope that this can show you that you have power within you. And I know that saying hearing this when you don't feel that's the case, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, your life is different. I get it. I've been through certain situations where I was like, yeah, okay, you're talking from, that point of view that is quite high, and I am down here. But I can tell you now, my life is so much different. It's so much different. On Saturday, it will be 11 years that I moved to London. And I can tell you, when I moved to London, I moved with nothing. I moved with very little savings, which became even less because from euro to British pounds, then the change will erase a lot of my money. And I moved not knowing anybody, and I moved not having a job, not even having a plan. I just moved because that's what my soul was asking me to do, because I had kept that I kept that feeling for so long, deep down on me, and I didn't want to listen to it, that at some point it just exploded. So I had no choice. I had to do it. And so when I did it, there was not much to plan about it, because I was like, I need to go. I need to do it now. And I struggled so much the first few years. But I never really given up on myself. And when I was in the worst situations where I was afraid of how to pay the rent or how to go by, something will happen that will help me. And this was just because I'm a dreamer. I always dreamed big things, but I also had quite a big problem with self-esteem. I didn't think I could. And that is something that can affect you. And so, but I built on from that, and it took me a few years to get to a point where I could make a decision to change my life. And as you guys know, it happened because I realized that life is short after my dad passed away. And a lot of my guests had the same realization. A lot of my guests have lost someone they loved very much. And that is what triggered them to change their lives. And it's often with something quite important, like moving country, deciding to go for something that you're not sure it's going to give you money, but it's just following that feeling. And so those are topics that seem to keep coming back. And once you follow your intuition, things happen, and you have like a variety of synchronicities that help, that come along and help you manifest whatever it is that you want. But I hope you understand that inner work, it's important. Releasing emotional baggage, it's extremely important, because you can move forward, but you're gonna get stuck to a point where you're like, there is something going on. So the guests that I had have a variety of different ways of helping with this. There is someone that can connect you to your angels and guides, and other people that do cacao ceremony, and who works with chakras, work with their Akashic records, and medicine and natural plants. I've had all kinds of guests. Some do what I do. I do help you to tune into your intuition and manifest your vision through the power of chromotherapy. Every one of us has a very different way of dealing with the same thing, and it's for you to understand that you have the power. And once you awaken that inner power, you are magical. You're a magical human being. You can do so many good things. You can do things that are good for you. You can be happy. You can help other people. And I promise you, what I love the most about my job, yes, I love doing this. I love connecting, but it's really doing the sessions with my clients, because when I see that light that turns on, it just makes me so happy. And, it takes a little to make someone happy. So here I am rambling about all the things that we have talked in this podcast. But it's really just to say, please, please, please do give yourself a chance. This year has been crazy. And I think this year has shown us that we have no control over anything. And oftentimes we need to surrender, because something or someone else has more power over us. And, you know, we are used to think about maybe your boss has more power over you. Maybe your partner has more power over you, your parents, your friend, whoever. But really there is a global, like a source, energy, God, whatever you want to call it, universe, that have a power over us. But when we take our power back, we're able to deal with these situations in such a completely different way. I've heard women that have allowed 2020 to take their job, leave their job, and change their career. I know it's not been the same thing for everybody, and I know a lot of people have had massive issues. But for the ones of you that are in a good position, but you know there is something that is not working in your life and you're not happy, take that leap. Take it. Because, you know, there's always going to be someone that tells you the economy is not going in the right direction. This is not going well. Be careful with that. Are you sure? There's always going to be someone trying to make you think twice about what you already know. But the thing is, if you know, you know. So just follow yourself. That's the best thing that you need to do. Follow your higher self. You have that feeling within you. When I moved to London, you know, I came here the first time when I was 14. It was 2 weeks to study English, and I just knew I knew I had to move. And obviously I didn't do that when I was 14, but I remember I went home and I said to my mom, when I turned 18, I'm going to move to London. There was something here that made me feel at home in a way that no other place would. Now, things have changed a lot this year, and you might be feeling restless. You might be feeling you don't belong to the place where you are, and you feel there is something that needs to change, but you don't know what to do. Well, that's when you need to get in touch, because what has happened this year has changed us, yes, because we needed to adapt to the situation. Fine. That's a given, and that's something that is easy to see. But what this has done has shifted energy within us, has shifted the way we feel and the way we think about stuff. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you have started thinking, do I really want to do this job? Do I really want to stay in this place? Do I really want to be with this person? Do I really want to be surrounded by those people? Do I really want to be on my own? Whatever your situation, I know you've been thinking. It's the conversation I had with so many, and that happened to me. The energy that has shifted in each and every one of us has brought people to behave in a way or in another. And I heard so many people saying, I didn't see that coming. Like we didn't see the pandemic coming, but we also didn't see certain people behaving in a certain way with us. It happened to me. And this is the reason why I moved in place. And that has triggered me to look around and stop being so focused on my business and really have a bigger 360 view of what's going on in my life. Where is the energy coming from? What do I want? Is this still okay? Do I still want this? Do I still want that? And this is why there are a lot of shifts coming. And this is what I was talking to you about. It made me realize a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily seeing before. And that's okay, because a big shift in our life are there for that reason. So that it's something really beautiful or it's something really bad happening to you because someone or something happens, they are there to make us understand what needs shifting in our life and what needs changing. For me, that I am a free spirit, staying for 7 years in the same place, made me realize it's not for me anymore. It's not the life that I want. So I'm shifting, I'm changing. Maybe there is something different for you. Maybe you realize that you don't want to be by yourself anymore. Or maybe you realize you want to be by yourself, or you want to move country. I know that one of the things that I heard the most from Americans and people who live in England is they want to move country because they don't feel safe. And I agree with that. But check in with yourself if that's the case. How do you feel? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? Is everything going okay because you're trying to making it go okay? Or is it okay because you feel it's right? Make sure you understand that, because if you listen to any of the episodes there, it gets to a point where even if you make it okay and you try to push and you try to control whatever you can, at some point that thing is going to explode. And it's not going to happen in the way that you can control it or in the way that you want it. It's going to happen in a way that is going to be painful and difficult to deal with. Of course, that is your journey, that is your process, and that's what you need to go through. But when you think you have control, the only thing you have control over is the decisions that you make. And so now you can make the decision to allow those 3 months left in 2020 to be different and to be aligned to who you are. So don't go towards the end of the year thinking, oh my God, I cannot wait for 2020 to be over and let's move into 2021, because 2021 is not going to be that different, especially not at the very beginning. There's still going to be a lot of energy coming from this year that is going to go around for the next year. So you might just make a plan that allows you to step into your own power and to listen to your soul desires. All right, I think I rambled for so long, and I'm just gonna end it here. There are a couple of things that I want to tell you. So if you go to my website, theintuitionqueen.com, you can sign up to the newsletter, and I'd love for you to do so, because I am about to come up with a lot of new things. I have a Facebook group coming up. You can book the color therapy readings. I know you guys have questions about color therapy. Please do send me messages. You can check on my website, what does it mean to have a color therapy session? There is a variety of, you can have a basic or a deluxe session. You can book a card reading if you just want some guidance about any area of your lives. And if you sign up to the newsletter, there is my new program coming up in the new year, and I can let you know, and any new things that I am thinking with my little head here, and that will pop over in the next few months as soon as I settle into the new place. And I'm gonna start to create more things for you, because I really want you to finish this year with more awareness and more confidence within yourself. You have the power to create everything that you want, little by little, step by step. That's how it works. So thank you again so much for being with me this year. It's been an amazing journey, and I cannot wait to start over again. I'm gonna take some time off, but that's really much needed because I have so many ideas, and I cannot wait to put them in place. If you have any questions, get in touch for anything. You can follow me on Instagram. I am super active there. It's easier for me. So just go to the Intuition Queen. You find me there, explaining why color affect you, how they affect you, and what it means to have a color reading with me. It's so much fun, and it's going to be really surprising and mind-blowing for you. So stay tuned, stay in touch, sign up to my newsletter. Just go to my website and do it from there, and I will see you and talk to you very soon.
Your
Ciao.
future's at the door.